Young, you say nothing I say can be used against me?
That's right.
Me and Threat shot up Rich Homie Coin Daddy Barbershop on Bankhead. I don't know what happened with Threat and Rich Homie Coin, but I'ma ride with my brother. And they was beefing. And yeah, we pulled up and did that.
Okay.
Statements being said about him basically shooting up your dad's barbershop.
Since 4, we're hearing from a man who says he chased the gunman who shot a popular Atlanta rapper's father. Channel 2's Tom Jones now live in Northwest Atlanta, where police say, Tom, that the gunman got away in a black Honda Accord.
What is a lighter? The barbershop did get shot up, but it wasn't like, I don't want to talk much to it, but it wasn't like he has over-exaggerated it, because the same day the barbershop got shot up, it was up and running. So it couldn't have been like what he said it was. So we're going to hold that down. Shout out to Woody. But niggas know.
You know what I mean? Everybody praying on something happening. I asked God to remove all evil from my path, and look what happened. Niggas just dropping dead.
Once a snitch, always a snitch. No one likes a rat. You hear statements like this in the rap game, among gangs, and even among friends. The truth is, no one likes a rat. In this instance, a rat is someone who cooperates with the cops to inform on another person, or it may be a whistleblower, or in this case of Kenneth Copeland, or as he is also known, Lil Woody, a rat is someone who testifies against a known colleague. But is Lil Woody actually a rat?
Thug was trying to protect Rich Homie. He was calling us saying that, man, hey man, leave Rich Homie alone. Like, yo, he don't tell me what to do.
Did Thug have an issue with Rich Homie Quan bringing members of If Gang to his apartment?
Thug, did you have an issue with Rich Homie?
I'm asking you for what you told the police.
And I'm answering you. I just told you several times. I tell the police anything.
Okay. Do you recall talking about the shooting at the studio with Rich Homie Quan's car last week with Mr. Sharp?
I don't know nothing about this.
So Woody, or Lil Woody, has for the last few months of 2024 taken the witness stand in the case against Jeffrey Williams, the rapper known as Young Thug. However, in the course of the case, Woody has become something of a lovable rat. There has been a huge admiration for him, especially on social media. He became everyone's favorite snitch. There is a lot of people that don't respect him, but for the most part it looks like everyone messes with him. He was even seen having the time of his life on the fan bus. Recently he also allegedly got robbed, which has people thinking, is Lil Woody actually safe? But we'll get into that later in the video. But before we get into all of that, let me give y'all a backstory. If you haven't been living under a rock, you must have heard of the Rico case built by the state of Georgia against Jeffrey Williams and 5 co-defendants. The state prosecutors have alleged that Young Thug and the other defendants in the case belong to an organization known as Young Slime Life, or YSL for short. It has been quite the case of the decade, as the state of Georgia has alleged that YSL is a criminal gang that commits crimes such as gang violence, armed robbery, and even murder. The prosecutors have also mentioned that Young Thug and his crew have been terrifying the neighborhood of Cleveland Avenue, Southeast Atlanta, and this place has borne the burns of their violent crimes. However, Young Thug's lawyers have repeatedly mentioned during the trial that YSL is a harmless record label that is only in the music business. The case against Young Thug and the co-defendant has gained traction on social media, with different individuals having various opinions on the case.
This is all to me like I have a bag over my head and I'm getting smashed with a baseball bat, and I have no idea where to hit because I don't have anything.
Woody is being accused of allegedly being Young Thug's shooter and helped kill Young Thug's op, Big Nut. Lil Woody allegedly started the war. The beef between YSL and YFN is the reason this case is even happening. Woody was allegedly robbed by YFN, and allegedly YSL got back by killing Big Nut. It was even said that Rich Gang ended because of the death of Big Nut. And to make things worse, in leaked messages with Rich Homie Quan, he even said that Thug was responsible. I don't want to get into this too much until everything is final. All I could really say is free Young Thug. Some say the relationship between rap music and gang violence over the years has almost become cordial, and the fact that a record label could also double as a violent gang is an impunity on the rap genre. Still, others believe that Young Thug and the other 5 defendants in the case are victims of overzealous prosecutors who want to make a name for themselves and further their careers. And we've been seeing this happen before. But the question that's probably on your mind right now is, how does all this concern Lil Woody, and how did Lil Woody finesse the system?
How old are you?
Grown.
Okay, what does grown mean?
I'm an adult.
Okay. And when you say you're an adult, what number and years are you?
I plead the fifth.
Well, in the build up to the case against members of YSL, a name kept popping up. That name was Kenneth Copeland, or as you all know him, Lil Woody. The detectives in the case discovered that Lil Woody might just be their star witness, a smoking gun, the individual that would help them win the case to be able to successfully indict Young Thug and everyone else who was involved. At first, during discovering and questioning those tied to the case, Lil Woody was invited for questioning, and it seemed that they would be able to use him and keep his identity a secret until it was time for him to be revealed. However, footage got leaked from the interrogation and the public got to know of the prosecution's star witness, and let's just say things were going to start getting out of control.
I'm risking my life giving y'all this information because I know for 100% sure only 4 people know about this information. This one person.
But we're not gonna put you out there like that. We know how to do stuff and not put you out there like that.
Yeah, but I
promise you.
Woody, okay. Remember, how many times have I been straight up? Like the 11 years that you know me, when have I ever lied to you on anything I've ever done?
Well,
when did I ever lie on any of the old boys?
I gave y'all this information.
As you can see from the leaked footage, Woody seems pretty confident that he will be able to help the cops in proving the crimes against Young Thug and the other co-defendants, or so the cops thought. So as the preliminary hearings began, it was decided that the case would go to trial, as it's required by law. A jury of the defendants' peers was chosen to consider the case and make their judgment. It is a job of both the prosecutor and defendants to choose the jury through a procedure known as jury selection, where 12 jurors are selected from a pool after asking them a series of questions. Usually jury selections take weeks or a couple months, but in this case, jury selection took a whole month to be completed, with both sides objecting to choose of the other. Suffice to say, this case wasn't going to be a typical case, and Lil Woody's conduct throughout his witness testimony is a testament to that fact.
I'm asking you now, when they're like, all right, we're calling Kenneth Copeland, are you gonna say, okay, ask me what you want to ask me, I'll tell you whatever I'm gonna tell you, or are you gonna say, nope, I don't care if you throw me in jail, I'm not saying a word, I am not getting on the stand?
Depending on how I wake up.
Okay, all right, well then we will just revisit it on Monday morning.
So let's get into Woody's testimony properly. Remember when we said the prosecutor at first thought Lil Woody's witness testimony would help them argue their case without a hit? Well, they couldn't be more wrong. I will explain. Right from the moment when the prosecutors decided to call him as his witness, Lil Woody did something that the prosecutors did not expect, as was his right hand. He hired a lawyer who pleaded to the judge that his client Woody would not be testifying. He mentioned that his client Lil Woody wished to exercise his right according to the 5th Amendment. This is the right to refuse to speak and excuse oneself from saying something that may incriminate oneself. The law usually applies in criminal cases such as this one.
You live with any regrets?
I think we all do. And if you don't, I feel like you ain't got a conscience. Because we human, we make mistakes, we live and we learn from them.
Definitely.
It's different if you're not learning from it. I learned from my situation.
Yeah.
You can't get me.
So with Woody's appeal to plead the 5th, the prosecutor's options were limited. However, they were able to use a legal technicality called use immunity. So this plea grants the witness the opportunity to say whatever he wants during the testimony without incriminating himself, as long as the testimony is helpful to the case. Basically, use immunity is a panacea for the 5th Amendment, and it seemed like they were back on track and able to allow Woody to give his testimony without fear of incrimination.
Hotel, and once again, echo.
Get back.
But as you may guess, things didn't go as planned. Woody was still determined to not speak. When one of the prosecuting attorneys decided to ask him a question, he declined to answer even after he was granted use immunity. So the judge found him in contempt of the court and sentenced him to spend a night in jail. The next day, the testimony continued and things still didn't go smoothly.
This infinity that was rented about that you gave to Threats, I guess the day before Donovan Thomas' murder, is that correct? Yesterday when we left off, were you speaking about the infinity that was rented by Thug that you gave to Threat the day before Donovan Thomas was murdered?
I don't recall.
And you said that you gave Threat that infinity after you and Little D from Cleveland Avenue spun out that infinity on the highway. Is that correct?
I don't recall.
You don't recall what you said yesterday? Did you also talk about you spinning out the car on the highway yesterday as well?
I don't recall.
And when you gave Threat the car that was at the studio off of Northside Drive?
I don't recall.
While he responded to the questions from the prosecutors, he didn't give satisfying answers. His demeanor showed he wasn't ready to be cooperative. Many times during the testimony, he would be seen spinning his chair, yawning, or unable to give a straight answer. An example is when he was asked to state where he went to school, he couldn't even give a straight answer. The judge was compelled to correct him on several occasions, such as the tradition of standing when members of the jury enter or exit the court. He even interrupted the line of questioning of the prosecutors by asking them, "What you mean?" or "I don't know shit about what you talking about." Woody is really playing both sides at this point.
You ain't giving us nothing. You bullshitting us. I mean, like, they knew what I was doing. My stomach hurt bad, Judge. I feel like I got cramps.
I don't want to see anyone getting locked up or wish that on anyone. Woody is like a clip farmer at this point. And if anyone were to kill Lil Woody, that person would be cooked. Cause that's like killing a cop as of right now. Like Woody, Gunna was also allegedly a snitch too. Gunna got out and everyone at first wasn't rocking with him cause he snitched on YSL to get out. But now they praise Woody, which goes to show how this industry is. My message to Woody would be keep your fans straight and be smart about your decision. Every action has a reaction. The reason I say this is because after the murder of Big Nut, Woody's pulled up on him with a drive-by 2 times and they almost killed his daughter. I feel like the decisions Woody made is not going to help him in the future, and I feel like he just dug himself in a deeper hole. But I guess time will tell. But this wasn't the end. During the course of his witness statement and testimony in court, Woody fired his attorney, shouting loudly, "She fired, I don't want her." But the drama was not limited to Woody alone. See, his legal case was also double dealing. During the plea for his use immunity mentioned earlier, Woody's legal team leaked an ex-party conversation between the judge and the prosecutors to the lawyers of Young Thug and his co-defendant, and that almost caused him to be found in contempt of court.
No, we're not doing that at this point in time. So you'll have a choice to make. All right, take Mr. Steele into custody, please. Okay, all right.
But let's go back to Lil Woody and his dramatic testimony. So remember when I mentioned leaked footage of an interrogation that revealed Lil Woody as the star witness in the YSL Rico trial? Well, it turns out the interrogation was supposed to help nail Woody for a felony he had committed, and then he decided to turn on his former colleagues in the YSL crew. Lil Woody was far from being a saint. He had previously been arrested and even sent to jail on different felonies, such as being in possession of a firearm and displaying it in a public area where children and other people were. He was sent to prison after this incident, which was back in 2018. But that wasn't the end. After he came out of prison in 2021, he was subject to a traffic stop where he was once again found with a deadly weapon, but this time as a convicted felon, which was a crime. So rather than go through the same ordeal again and get locked up for more time, he decided to be an informant for law enforcement and basically started snitching on everyone. He spent close to 4 hours being interrogated by detectives, telling them about crimes that have happened or will happen in the future in Atlanta, Georgia. It was during this interrogation that he expressed willingness to snitch on Young Thug, other members of the YSL crew, and footage of the interrogation got leaked. Now you get the full picture. So when it was time for him to get proper details of what he knew about allegations brought against Young Thug and others, he went off script. And what I mean by that is he went in the wrong direction. He said that all that he had mentioned there in the interrogation to the detectives was all cap. He claims to have said all those lies against Young Thug and the others just to get detectives off his back. These were his exact words. The police were constantly targeting me, so to shift their focus, I said Thug did this, Thug did that, despite knowing these were false allegations.
You're saying that you gave the car to Javante, who gave it to Lil Mike and Quez, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and you would agree that detectives Gaither and Dennis are telling you we've never even heard of Lil Mike and Quez, correct?
Yes.
Mr. Copeland, Lil Mike is not a real person, is he?
No.
That was a finesse. You invented a person out of thin air, correct?
Yes. I done told y'all that's what I do.
That's your finesse, right?
He further went on to say that the prosecution was the reason he fabricated those statements against Young Thug and the others. So during the interrogation after the traffic stop, Woody claimed the detectives and the prosecution mentioned Thug and the YSL crew. So he practically jumped on an opportunity to turn the focus of the case away from himself and onto the defendant. He said he was under pressure from the prosecuting attorneys to rat on Thug as a way to save himself from a long prison sentence. So he decided to say that Thug did everything he was accused of even though he knew it was was false. He said he did so to save himself and also because he thought they were never going to prosecute Young Thug. But it wouldn't end here. See, Woody opened an opportunity for the case to go to a mistrial on a basis of prosecutorial misconduct. How? He claimed that the prosecutors knew that his testimony was false and thus his witness statement would also be false if he was called to testify, and they still went ahead to take the case to trial. Although the defense is yet to explore the opportunity, this pitfall, if it were true, could potentially get the case thrown out. The entire episode of Woody's testimony has given him more clout than he could ever have imagined. Many have come on social media to show their admiration for him being a snitch who didn't snitch. He was even featured on media platforms where he recounted how his testimony went. He also appeared on Fanbus, a 20v1 video with Charleston White.
What the hell you going? What you doing?
What you mean what I'm doing?
Caught with teeth. Get your mom. Those strong hands up out of here. What's going on with you? Wait a minute. That's the point. Get your mom up out of here. Play them game right there. That big punk, this nigga.
The list goes on. You get the type of timing he's been on since all this happened. He even dropped a new single called I Don't Recall. Allegedly, recently, Woody got robbed out of his chain, which goes to show this man really might not be safe.
Stop, man. Y'all know I'm coming here. Nigga, how about that? And I keep that bankroll in my pocket. How that? Man, nigga. What's wrong with y'all little nigga, man? Y'all better stop playing with me, man. Keep that low. Keep that low. Huh? Come get it. Y'all need to stop, man. Keep out these interviews and do hilarious shit, nigga.
If people see that you're an easy lick, who knows what else they're going to want to try. Like I said, Woody just needs to keep his head up because he might have got himself in something it's going to be kind of hard to get out of. And I'm not even talking about him getting robbed. I mean by like the legal system. Woody and Charleston White also became good friends, and Charleston White is a well-known snitch too. Well, I take that back, bro. I'm not gonna lie. This just happened. They recently got into it and are now beefing. Allegedly, Charleston White started talking crazy on Woody's fam, and Woody didn't like that.
So I'm just trying to get him to crash out. So him and Thug need to have a conversation in jail. He don't need to apologize to Thug out here on the blog. He need to go back in jail and there's nothing your mom and daddy here. I'm sorry. He ain't apologized to his victim. He's still trying to play gangster tough. So let me send him back down there where he can be gangster tough. Because your kids get talked about here. Online, people make fun of your mama. So if I can get him to crash out for what I say, checkmate. I'm trying to see if he's still gangster, if he'll still shoot that pistol. Because the FBI did have him listed as 10 of the most violent, dangerous people in Atlanta. You don't think the feds still want to get him? You don't think Atlanta prosecutor's office don't want to get their lick back for what he did on stage?
Birds don't get me, man. Y'all gotta go past it. Y'all gotta be able to see a sucker like that. You know he can get to you. He gonna try everything. You're talking about my child. You would never say anything to me. Yo, that's the difference between me. Like, I know you need to be saying it on the internet. They won't say that right here. But I can put my hands on the car. I drop his head like a dead head.
They started going back and forth. Who knows if this is just for clout or they're really dead ass. I guess we'll see in the future. But what do you think? Is it all just a cover up or is Lil Woody actually a rat?
But if you could walk in that courtroom and say one thing to Thug right now, what would that be?
I'm sorry.
What you sorry for?
The pain, the suffering, everything I caused on him and his family, society, the courts. I'll never forgive myself because, you know what I mean, no matter what happened, you know what I mean, I took him through a process that I should never took him through. Even though I know I'm not the cause of it, despite how any people may feel, it's wrong. And if I knew that it would have did that, I would never be so evil as I was.